everyone and welcome back to India Rain Rocks. So today's video I thought I'd do a Louis meet and greet story time when I met him outside his studio in January 2020, and basically just a bit of an explanation as to why I went to his studio, because obviously I know people are very on the fence about whether it's stalkerish to go to the boys' studio or not. And basically the reason why I specifically went to Louis' studio, and it's the first time I've ever gone, and the reason why I went was because Louis is the kind of person, he genuinely does not mind the fans being there. Like, he'll walk out and he sees the fans and he just walks straight over and is just like, "Oh, you right guys, how are you?" And he just basically, he talks to you like you're an old friend rather than like a fan artist interaction. He literally speaks to the fans and he'll speak to you like you're just like old friends, like you've just been best friends for like so long. And it's just so nice. And like Louis, I can tell that the way Louis sees it about fans going to his studio is he kind of sees it as like an opportunity to get the fans' reactions to new music, merch, anything that he's doing. He kind of uses it as his opportunity to kind of get the fans' kind of opinions on stuff. And I remember when, before he released his merch, he was asking fans when they went to his studio years ago, he was asking fans "Oh, what kind of merch do you want me to put out? What kind of price range should I make it all?" And it was just really nice. It's just so nice that he kind of really includes the fans on everything that he does with music and with merch and everything else. So yeah, that's basically the reason why I went, is because I just know that he genuinely doesn't mind. And obviously he gets thousands of messages on Twitter every single day about how much people love him and basically people's kind of reactions to everything anyway. But I think he really appreciates people's actual verbal reactions and actually really hearing it. And kind of the way I kind of know that is when I met him at the X Factor in 2018 when he was doing the shows. I said to him, I was like, you know, you're doing really well, really proud of you. And he was like, "Oh, am I doing good? Am I making you proud?" And I think he just likes, you know, he likes hearing people telling him that he's doing good with stuff, or he really appreciates the fans' opinions and really takes everyone's comments on board. And I think that's why when he met people when Walls first came out, he was very "Oh, what's your least favourite track? I know you've got one, I know you've got one." And yeah, I think he's just literally he is literally meeting a best friend. When you meet him, this is literally what it's like to me, and when you meet him, he is a best friend. And he knows as well that he's safe as well when he's outside the studios, because obviously there's not always a lot of people, but he knows that the people that are there are the massive fans, and he does recognise people as well that he's seen. If he's seen you more than once, he does recognise you. And if he happens to know that you go to university or that you work, he'll ask you about it. He'll ask you about university, he'll ask you how work is, or he'll ask you about your general life. If he knows there's something that's going on, he'll ask you. And it's just wow. How can a person be this nice and this just kind to everyone that he meets? So yes, basically I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my experience meeting Louis at the studio. And it was probably one of my favourite times I met Louis, just purely because of how he was with the fans and just how how chilled out he was. And he's so different to the other boys. Obviously, you know, they all love meeting fans. Liam and Harry in particular really recognise fans when they're on stage, and Harry's obviously known for seeing people in the crowd and being "This is your name," and having conversations with people. And Liam does it a lot as well. And Niall's really good at recognising faces and stuff. He's another one where if he meets you more than once and you go to a few things gigs, golf or whatever, if he recognises you, he'll be "Oh, I know you," type thing. And it's just really nice. But Louis in particular, we were all standing in a circle essentially when we went to Louis' studio. Well, I was some of us were sitting down, other people kind of in a circle, and Louis basically came out and he stood in the middle of the circle just talking to us all normal, so he knows that he's totally safe with us all, knowing that he could just come out and stand in the middle of our circle having a chat with us with no security around whatsoever, and he knew he was safe. So it's just really nice that he kind of trusts us in that way, knowing that none of us are gonna jump on him and you know, attack him in some sort of way to put him in any danger. He knows that he just knows it's gonna be safe around us, and it's just so nice to kind of know that he likes being around the fans like that, and it's just amazing. So yes, my experience meeting Louis at the studio was so much fun. It was so great. I was at uni actually. I was literally in my university lecture and my friend messaged me saying, what are you doing right now? And I was like, well, right now I'm in uni, but I've got like half an hour left. And she was like, okay, well, Louis at his studio. So I know you're like, I know you've never been before, but do you want to come down? Do you want to come try and meet him with me? And I was like, okay, I think I had like a uni lecture in the evening that I didn't go to, but that doesn't matter, it's fine. I was in my first year, it's okay. First year doesn't count, as Louis always says. First year does not count, so I didn't go to my evening lecture, oops. Anyway, so I turned up and we were there. I literally don't even know how long we sat there. We probably sat there for like 5 hours before Louis came out, and obviously it was January in the UK, so it was very, very cold, and I was just like, why did I not dress for the occasion? Like, obviously I didn't know I was going to be going to Louis' studio, but like I was in like leggings and like a hoodie and a really big coat, and I was just like, why? Why am I dressed like this? So basically time went by. Obviously I was talking to my friend, and obviously I knew other people there as well, because like the usual like big fans were there, so obviously I know some of them, so we were kind of all like chatting a bit, and then Louis like walked out. I didn't even notice that Louis walked out until like I heard him go, oh, you right guys, like he does, and I was just like, oh, Louis here, and I like stood up from the floor, and like I said before, we were all like obviously standing in a circle, so we all like kind of stood in a circle, and Louis like stood with us, and he was just like, you lot are mental, it's literally freezing out here, and we were just like, yeah, so you know, like he'd literally been out there for like 30 seconds. We were like, we've been out here 5 hours, you can't complain about the cold. So he like lit a cigarette as well, and he was like talking to us with it in his hand, and he was just like, right, I'm gonna put this out and get some pictures with you all, because you lot are mental for standing out here because it's so cold. And we were just like, no, finish, don't put it out for us. And he was like, no, I'm not as tough as you guys are warriors. And I was like, oh my god. So I actually have a recording of the entire like meeting process. It's like, how long is it? It's like 7 minutes long. So I'm gonna include that basically just so you guys can see what it's like to meet Louis, and what he's like around the fans, especially around fans that he knows, like the banter that he has with everyone. So I'm gonna include that now.
You know, I love it. Right, let's do some photos, because you're all mad as fuck for coming out in this weather, man. It's freezing.
It's absolutely freezing.
Right, are we doing individuals yet?
Yeah.
You can finish.
Yeah, just finish.
Finish it.
I'm not fucking waiting this cold like you. These are fucking warriors.
It's not as bad to wait for like 5 fucking minutes.
I'm a pussy with the cold. I get cold easy. Right, let's have it.
I usually have my Donny scarf. I'm not going to have it today. So
Don't worry.
There you go, there's a
As long as
couple
you're
on
repping
there
it
for
at
you.
uni, you know what I mean?
Do you mind taking mine?
yeah. Do you want me to use my phone?
Hey, darling, you alright? Yeah, I'm alright.
Haven't you?
Ah, yes.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
No worries,
See you on Friday.
thank you. What's
Oh,
it
yes.
on Friday?
You're listening.
Oh, yeah, it's that time of year. I am. I can't wait for you to hear Wolves.
The light is really bad. That's right. Oh no.
Oh well.
There's a thing called a flash. If you turn it on, it helps the light. I'm joking.
Can you be your... Oh, cheers, mine.
Yeah, you can. Oh, you
Well,
moved
I'm
into
cold
the light.
already.
You fucking moved into the light of yours.
I'll see you in Feb as well, Louis.
When, sorry?
In Feb.
In Feb.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah.
What's happening in February?
The one-time one.
Your watch out
Oh,
show.
yeah, it's a sick lineup that.
Yeah.
I know, brilliant.
We have something to ask you.
Alright.
Do you like 21 Pilots?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually know too much from them, to be honest.
Okay, I'm just And do you know that, like, literally, like, Josh, Josh himself.
What, and is he from the band?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, I do apologise. I only know of the band. I don't know any of the tunes, to be honest. Look at you looking at me, all you disgust. No, I've heard the good though. I've heard the good, and a lot of people rate that in the industry. A lot of people, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. All right, well, I'm listening. I want you now.
That's the best. Thank you.
What was that song they had that were a hit in America? Yeah, maybe that were it, yeah. I heard that one, that were good.
You need to listen trees.
Trees. Alright, yeah, cool. Who's next? I'm fucking trying to keep warm, you know, I'm cold. Also, whatever the fuck I want, you know what I mean? more ice.
Thank you.
Right, who's next?
Okay.
Oh.
Come on.
How come we didn't get invited for Friday?
Yeah.
Not the biggest fan. The biggest fans.
I'm going to America.
I'm joking. Listen, I don't make the rules on that. Do you know what I mean? It's easier that I don't. Because otherwise I get guilty in situations.
Okay, I'm going to cancel all my tickets then.
Oh, right, let's fucking go!
I'm fighting you because I'm the only one.
Okay, fair. You're the brave one.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, darling.
Sorry.
Nice one.
Doing more than half if we're doing songs and half of it, can you listen to BTS?
No!
Too many cameras around.
Listen.
Yeah, I'll stay
I know you
open-minded.
always say like you love artists that like produce and write their own stuff. They do.
Okay, well that's cool. That's
really
positive.
cool. You
Definitely.
like, yeah, you just do it. I mean, you can look up translations.
You know what was sweet? I got a little signed album from them, to be fair. Yeah.
You got one of it? I don't have one.
Yeah, I think it's in like a pink cover. Do you know that one? Yeah, which is pretty sweet. To be fair, that was
Did
pretty
you
nice of
listen
him.
to it?
I haven't listened to it yet, but I had the
Please do.
time. To be fair, that was pretty fun. That was pretty nice of him. You know what I mean? Right, who's next? Come on. Let's get out the fucking cold.
Pushing me out of the way.
Don't worry, we're going on Friday.
She's a pussy.
Right.
We're getting
Politics.
We're coming.
I am. I told you I get cold easy.
Can I
now.
ask you just for a favour? Just a video for like your biggest fan.
Go on. What's the name?
I've met a Mary from Melbourne.
What's the name, sorry?
Mary.
Mary.
Yeah.
Hi Mary, it's Louis here. Sending you loads of love.
Thank you so much.
No worries, thank you.
I'm
Criminal that I know already.
And also,
You always say that.
she's my plus one.
Oh, what?
So on Friday,
Oh,
I
sick.
was like, you are coming.
Oh, nice. Fucking hell.
We all want to
come.
there. She was like, oh, I don't think he's gonna remember me. I was like, no,
Obviously,
he will.
obviously, all that crap. Right, come on, who's next? What?
Yeah. Thank you for scheduling for our Glastonbury, by the way.
Sick, didn't it? I did it, yeah.
Like,
You going Glastonbury?
yeah.
Oh,
We got
sick,
tickets,
sick,
like
sick.
just. We got like one of the last ones.
Yeah,
Who are you looking forward for?
Who's at the
I think it's like
Paul McCartney.
And Taylor Swift on Sunday.
Yeah, everyone's always filmed it, so I can't speak honestly. But now I'm excited to see Right, everyone got the photo?
No, I haven't. I'm really excited for you. Why that one? Yeah, that one I'm just drawn to. Hello.
You what? I
wanted him in a set.
I wanted to start it in a set. You know what it is in my job? Always. Like, I can say it from the start and then it gets fucking close to it and then I'm getting all pressure from fans and I'll just get something out.
I don't got it for that art, you know.
Yeah. Right. I've got to go to your interview. I've got to go. Is everyone really quick? Hello. Sorry, just give me 2 minutes. Sandra. Just give me 2 minutes. Thank you. Oh, really? Thank you. Thanks, Sandra. Gotta go now. Love you.
Bye! Basically what I said to him was, because usually when I meet Louis, 9 times out of 10 I have like a Doncaster Rovers scarf that he always like notices and points at and acknowledges in some sort of way, no matter like where we are or what he's doing. So basically I was like the first person to like go up to him. I don't know why I was the first one, but I was the first one. So I went up to him and I was just like, oh, I've usually got my Donny scarf, but I've been at uni, so I've not got it with me. And he was like, oh, don't worry, and then we got our picture. And then he was just like, oh, as long as you're repping it at uni, do you know what I mean? I was like, of course I am. And then obviously it went on and he met all the other fans and he was having banter with everyone and everyone was just having like, you know, it was just really great. And then obviously he went and got in his car and we all said bye and stuff. He'd been in there all day, and then instead of just getting straight into his car and going home, he literally spent like nearly 10 minutes with us just having a chat, and it was just so nice, and I really appreciate him for that. I think he was actually rehearsing for his performance on the One show when I think it was the first live performance of Walls. I'm not too sure, but he performed Walls basically like at least one of the first times in the UK, and I was like, I wasn't inside the studio, but I was like outside when he came outside and performed it to the fans, so I was there. So that's going to be a vlog that's coming up in the future, because I may have met somebody else that day. Coincidentally went to basically the studio to see Louis and met somebody else that day. So if you're interested in seeing who I met and what happened that day, subscribe below. But yes, that is basically it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed kind of experiencing what it's like to meet Louis. Now you've got a bit more of like, you know, a bit more insight into what it's like to meet him, and hopefully anyone who hasn't met him yet gets to meet him very soon, because I promise he's literally one of the nicest people I have ever met, and he really does take his time with everyone if he's got the time. And yes, I would just like to finish this video by telling you all to follow your passion, make it happen, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!